Greetings from a hotel room in Perry. Maybe if I sit up straight, then we can trim the headroom. John, hear you there. Thanks for dropping by. And it is no dilly, no dally zone. Here's the rundown for today. Guest number one, who we're going to talk UGA football and the fall of Kirby Smart, among other things. We're going to catch up with him in a sec. Then we'll see if our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring can join us at 9:30. Unless they're globetrotting or spending time with family. Then once again, hour number 2, weekend whip around, patent pending, trademark coming sooner, hopefully rather than later, where we'll break down everything going on in Major League Soccer, including the matchup involving Atlanta United and NYC. That's going to be in hour number 2. I anticipate that Tyler Terrence will visit us for the third day in a row, only the second time intentionally. Story on that when he shows up in hour number 2. So since we are in a no dilly, no dally zone officially, hi, I'm in a hotel room in Perry, 2 hours south of Atlanta. That's why the lighting is what it is and my posture is what it is. Now, we have promised to get somebody out by the bottom of the hour because he's like globetrotting and has things to do. So we're going to go ahead and bring in Glenn Crooks and discuss the fall of Kirby Smart and everything going on with Georgia football. Glenn, thanks for dropping by on a Friday, man. Thanks for coming on.
Well, you might be surprised by this, but I just wanted to see. I'm going to put, I've got a microphone on. You hear me better now? Yeah.
You're good.
Right.
You're good either way. You're good. You're solid.
So, soccer has engulfed my life to the point where I only occasionally really focus on Georgia football. But I was curious and heard that a lot of transfers and and that Kirby went crazy after the game and and I do have someone I know who's pretty close to the situation, so I don't know all the details, but I'm pretty it's even a guy who you think would just be cool and because he's been there before, coaching is a very pressured occupation, no matter how much you're making, and especially at a place like Georgia where every move is monitored. But coaching at any level, there's pressure. When I'm in season, I don't sleep at all, not a wink.
No, right there with you, brother. And before you do go, I do wish that you would cut the promo for the hosting programming that you do on Sirius XM, so folks can sit there and follow what's going on, especially as you look at catch up with coaches and such. Main reason we brought you on, as we always do, twice a year in the Eastern Conference, when Atlanta and Atlanta United take on NYC, it's our chance to catch up with you and see what's going on up there in the tri-state. So I'm going to go ahead and ask off the top, how different is the vibe with Pascal as head coach than it was last year? How different are things right now?
Well, I think the thing that I've heard, and I spent a couple of weeks with them out at the Coachella Invitational as well, so I've gotten a really good feel for how preseason went and the early part of this season. Pascal Janssen, the new coach, has now coached 11 games, as he put it to me yesterday in our pregame briefing. So he's counting the preseason games almost equally because we were talking about the absolute anemic attack a week ago in Columbus, but still getting the point 0-0. And he said he'd never encountered anything like that in his 11 games. Plus, in his entire coaching career, he could only think of one time, and that one time at Alkmaar in the Netherlands, they still got in for a couple of shots. No shots on goal for the third time in history for New York City FC, and that's I was going to say that's quite an accomplishment, but it goes more in the other direction. But in terms of the comparison, and I know Nick very well, and it seemed that preseason and everything is just a little bit more intense and very transition oriented. So the thing I've been looking for early in the season is to see if indeed they transition with more urgency. And I can't honestly say I've seen it in practice yet. That is in practice in the games. But that is one thing, and I do feel also, and I think some of the results of the more intense preseason is that there were some injuries. Thiago Martins, their DP center back, he trained the first 3 days of preseason and didn't play another minute. No competition. No. So his preseason is now, I kind of kidded with him yesterday. I said, well, you're at the tail end of your preseason, which is now going to be 6 games into the regular season. And it's true. But he had a calf injury, and there were soft tissue injuries that we didn't see a year ago. So I'm just wondering if, the players, I'm sure next time around, if they're still around with Pascal, they'll be a little bit more prepared for the preseason. And I'm not saying 100% that's what the result of some of these injuries. Kevin O'Toole was down. Tavon Gray is still down. Andres Perea was coming off hernia surgery. They brought him back, but now he's down. So you just wonder. Keaton Parks has a foot injury, which he's been playing on, but had to come out a half hour into the game against Columbus. Looked good in training yesterday, so I suspect he'll be back. So there's these little things going. So I would just say the word intensity would be the defining difference.
When you what with all of these notations and injuries and subheadings and things, what does your vibe tell you about a starting 11? What's it going to look like, you think? If all things being equal, how are you envisioning a starting 11 now?
Well, I think he's gone with when everyone is available, and Tavon Gray and Micha Ilinic, I think they were still in a bit of a battle at the fullback slot on the right. But it's Kevin O'Toole, Burke Risa, Thiago Martins, and Micha Ilinic. It's going to be Justin Hack and Keaton Parks if he can go in the midfield. If Parks can't go, you get to see a 17-year-old Johnny Shore, most likely. Maxi Morales, the 38-year-old, will, I'm almost certain, start at an attacking midfield. And then up top, that's where it's not 100% certain. There's 2 positions that I think are pretty solid. Alonso Martinez, who's the only guy scoring and contributing pretty much, and Hannes Wolf, who's had 2 or 3 very good games so far after kind of a sluggish second half last year. The other winger, it's unclear. Is it Agustin Ojeda? Is it Julian Fernandez? Is it Monsef Bakrar playing on the wing and then teaming with Alonso Martinez a little bit? So that's where it's a little unclear. But there won't be too many surprises in the starting 11, I don't think. And so, Matt Freese in goal.
No doubt. And so the other subplot attached to this is the easy one for those of us that cover the games, and it's the Ronny Deila Derby.
Yeah.
And so what is your best NYC story involving Ronny Deila well, and you could take it that way. But what's your best Ronny Deila story to personify and have folks here in Atlanta understand the kind of coach and individual that Ronny Deila is?
Well, if they don't know this story, this is a good one. So he is the former Celtic manager, Celtic Park, and it's an area. It's just that whole scene in the Scottish Premiership. It's Celtic and Rangers pretty much. So the Old Firm. That match is massive. It's a massive match, one of the oldest rivalries that we know. Well, the Old Firm while Ronnie was manager of New York City FC, the Old Firm was played on a Saturday or Sunday morning. I think it was a Saturday morning. And Ronnie went to Jack Dempsey's in mid-Manhattan, which is also a City supporters bar. He wore a Celtic kit, and he sat and drank pints with supporters on a Saturday morning. He didn't have a game that day. So it was a day where there was no game. That's why I'm thinking it was Sunday morning, maybe. A game on Saturday, and he went in on Sunday morning. But he hung out with supporters for 2 or 3 hours, just loving the game and having some pints. And then the other fun Ronny Deila story, these are all off the field things. I like Ronnie. I sure hope I get to meet up with him when I'm down. We fly in today. Is in Nashville, I found out that his favorite song, and you should ask him this sometime, his favorite song is Whiskey Lullaby. And I cannot remember the country musician who made it popular, but like a million country musicians have sung this song, but
Right.
it's a kind of it's sort of an emotional song, but a really nice song. And so what he did in Nashville, Broadway, all those bars and pubs along Broadway. I don't know if you've been to Nashville, but there's like, 20 lined up on one side, 20 lined up on the other side. And the story goes that he just went into every one and requested Whiskey Lullaby, put like a $20 bill, in the bucket and said, will you play? And he just, Ronnie is a fun guy. He's serious about his soccer. I think I'm certain that the players enjoyed playing for him because he's a good man manager. He's a good leader. When he was at New York City FC, Nick Cushing, who got sacked last year, became the head coach after Ronnie left. But Nick did a lot of the tactics and did almost all of the training of the team. So Ronnie, his strength at the time anyway, was more, at least for New York City FC, was his man management, his leadership, how he got the best out of each player and got the best out of the team, which, as we've learned over time, that's why they call that person a manager, because they have to manage, even though we call it a head coach, I guess. But
Right.
I like calling them managers because that's really what they are.
I remember off the top of my head the Brad Paisley, Alison Krauss version, I think, of Whiskey Lullaby. I think that's, or was it?
And I love Alison Krauss. I don't know if I've even heard that. It's a single. No, it's a male artist who's made it really popular. And I can't. I honestly, I can't. I'm not. I like country, but I'm not a massive fan, so I can't quite.
See, now you're going to have me search here. Whiskey Lullaby.
Eddie, I think there's an E somewhere in there.
Yeah, Alison Krauss and Brad Paisley back in 2003. They did the version. All right. Song written by Bill Anderson and John Randall.
Wonderful.
Okay, so 03, the Paisley Krauss version is the one that I know. Okay, you mentioned the starting 11, all things being equal for NYC, and so let's play the feud here a little bit.
All right.
We do the TV open. You and I are sitting in the booth. We do the TV open, and at the beginning, whoever's doing the match, they always have player to watch. So let's go to player to watch for NYC. And then after you do player to watch, give me somebody on level 2 that's not really going to be, spot shadow and everybody's going to be following this particular individual back and forth for an entire 90 minutes. But if things are going well for NYC, then this individual outside of the player to watch is making things work for NYC. Who would your player to watch be in this matchup against Atlanta United? And then who's your second level player for folks to pay attention to?
Well, top tier level, it has to be Alonso Martinez. I mean, if you haven't watched New York City play, or you don't watch them often, I mean, he's their center forward, striker, however you want to define him. And he has 22 goal contributions in the 33 regular season games he's played for New York City FC. And most of those have come since the middle of last season. I mean, he's been incredibly productive. And then you saw that he was on international duty with Costa Rica last week, and New York City got nothing. And Monsef Bakrar, who was the starting striker at the beginning of last year. I mean, he's an interesting story, Alonso Martinez. Bakrar was the starting striker. There was no reserve striker in preseason camp. So again, at that Coachella Invitational, which I was at the previous preseason as well, Alonso Martinez, who was brought in as a wing, he basically got shifted into the striker role just out of necessity because, Bakrar can't play every minute of preseason. You don't do that to anybody.
No.
So then Martinez moved in, and he did okay, but there was nothing striking about his move into striker. And then he scored a hat trick off the bench against the San Jose Earthquakes. And I know you'll say, well, what's that all about? But he did it like in a 10-minute period, and it was startling, and it was as a striker. And from that moment on, he became a more regular focus for Nick Cushing to put him in the lineup. And 16 total goals last year, and then one in the playoffs. And so he's easily the player to watch. And he knows how to ride the last line. He'll be offsides a couple of times because he's just always riding that line. And he's got very good pace, explosive first step. And I don't think, having watched Atlanta, I don't think that there's anybody in central defense that can keep up with him if he gets the step on him, and that's just from what I've seen. And then it's up to Guzan to, come up with a save if that does occur. So they look for him early, and we'll see if they can find him. The tier 2 player, or the one that how did you phrase it? The player to watch and guy who's under the radar.
Level. Yeah, the under the radar,
like an under the radar guy.
Yeah,
I would say, I don't know how well people know Justin Hack, but he is a homegrown player. Justin Hack, in his New York City career, first of all, he was signed in 2019 and didn't played 3 games between 2019 and 2022 for the first team. He was loaned out a couple of times. He was kind of the forgotten guy, and he was the victim of New York City not having a second team. Like when MLS Next Pro was born in 2022, they added the second team. Well, Hack had already, he's already now pretty ensconced with the first team. But he paid that price along with several other players in his position. So got loaned to Hartford. Some guys were getting loaned to San Antonio in USL Championship. But Hack has been really, really valuable. And the reason he's been so valuable is his versatility. So he's mostly come in to help the team when somebody goes down injured. That's been it was Maxime Chenot first, back when Chenot was part of the team, came in and played center back. He's played fullback and he's played midfield. So he's done all 3 things for New York City. And I would be shocked if he isn't a starter in the midfield alongside either Keaton Parks or Johnny Shore, as I was saying before. So he's like, and he's going to have an important role to try to, bottle in Latte Lath, come double down on him or whatever, or prevent the passes into him, whatever he's got to do to make that happen. So Justin Hack is the next guy I would go to, just to see, because he's, New York City has to boss the midfield in order to have success in this game, and they did not last week. And I know that that's been something that's been emphasized in training this week, very much emphasized.
See, now I'm sitting here writing down boss the midfield, and so that's going to be one of the thought patterns that we're going to have to keep an eye on for this particular match. What does your gut tell you about this particular matchup this weekend with Atlanta United and NYC? What kind of a match are you expecting with these two?
I think it's a hard one to decipher because, Atlanta, from what I've seen, I saw the last game. I still have to watch the Miami game when you had all your troops. I did watch the last game where, during the international break when there's no Almiron, no Sleaze. I can't remember who else was missing, but those two that are the
8 other dudes.
Yeah, the other dudes. So, and then the 2 prior games with everybody, you couldn't score a goal. So I'm not sure. I would imagine Ronnie Dyla, new coach, Pascal Janssen, new coach, new players in for Atlanta. Not so much with New York City, but still, I think both teams, I think it's fair to say, are still trying to figure out their head coaches also and how they want things to go. And they're still working those things out. So for me the only thing I would say is that, I mean, and this is a fascinating statistic to me, which was read to me last night, and I had no idea. In the last 10 meetings, all competitions, Atlanta has not beaten New York City, no matter where they've played. I'd like to see if them go out in the park and play 4-a-side, see if they could win that one. So I guess you could say Atlanta United's due. But I think the irony of this game for me, and it's the Ronnie Dyla thing. Mm-hmm. And it's the first thing I thought of is that at Mercedes-Benz with Ronnie Dyla in the New York City FC technical area, Goody Tararenson scored a free kick goal in the 90th minute past Guzan for a 1-1 draw in October of 2021. New York City didn't lose another game the rest of the year through MLS Cup. And if they hadn't tied that game, there's a very, very good chance they wouldn't have even gotten into the playoffs. So it was just this massive moment in New York City history. Ronnie Dyla was the coach, and now he's on the other line, and it's in the same building, which he must have some fond memories of that building from that moment, I'm sure.
No doubt about it. One question from our folks in the Twitch pitch before you get out of here. Alex is asking, is that a CRT TV behind you?
I don't know what CRT is. What I will tell you it is, the thing is over 20 years old. It's like one of these rear, what do you call them? The rear
projection.
Rear projection. It's I can't believe it still works. I still watch it sometimes down here, but there's no HD. But I do have my cable, the cathode ray tube. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I believe that's what it is. The reason it's still here is because I don't know how the hell to get it out of my basement. It weighs about 2,000 pounds, and it wouldn't fit through any door or up to. I don't even know how I got it down here. So I will have to deconstruct it someday to get it out of here. But right now, it's a kind of a piece of furniture. I put things on top of it and to the side of it, and occasionally I put it on and watch it just for old time's sake.
That's fantastic. All right, cut the promo for me so you can get out of here. What can folks listen to you 9 days a week when you're doing stuff and when you're not doing stuff with NYC? Where can they pay attention to what's going on with you?
Well, anybody that subscribes to Sirius XM, you should know there's a soccer channel. It's channel 157.
Yes.
So it's 24/7 soccer. And I'm one of the hosts of some of the local programming, but I have a unique show. It's pretty niche. It's called the Coaching Academy, and I essentially talk to coaches. I talk to players, but nutritionists, performance coaches. Like when I get off in a half hour, I'm going to be interviewing Dawn Scott. Now, people might not know her name, but she's one of the top high performance coaches, sports scientists in our game. She was with the U.S. women's national team in 2011, 2015, and 2019. The players, look for their quotes, they swore by her. So she's really, she's massive in the industry. My guest last week was Tab Ramos, who I brought on to talk about the U.S. men's national team, who he follows closely for obvious reasons. Former player, former coach in the system. He went to 4 U20 World Cups. He thinks Zach Steffen should be our goalkeeper. That interview is one, if you're a national team fan, that's one you're going to want to catch, because it's not this big negative thing, but it's really, I think, a constructive conversation about the U.S. men. So it's every Tuesday it airs, and then it repeats a little bit, but then you got to go on the app. So if you're a subscriber to Sirius XM, you need to get the app. I use it all the time because I like listening to music too. And of course, my favorite station is E Street Radio, Bruce Springsteen, baby.
Yeah,
outside of the soccer channel.
Yes,
yeah. Outside of the soccer channel.
Absolutely true.
And by the way, it's Brad Paisley. You're right. Brad Paisley is the guy.
Okay.
On Whiskey Lullaby. He's the one.
Okay, so the Paisley Krause version is the one that we have to keep an eye on. That is my personal favorite of that particular remake.
Well, here's what you do. I don't know if you ever bring in Ronnie Dyla onto your show, but you have to get him on your show.
Okay.
And unbeknownst to him, just intro his segment with this song. He will freak out, man. You'll have him for however long you need him.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's the kind of intel that we love here. As always, my friend, great to see you. Be safe traveling down, and we will catch up with you soon. Thanks for all the intel. We'll catch up.
See you later.
All right, be good. Glenn Crooks, everybody. And it's always great to catch up with Glenn and find out what's going on in the Glenn Crooks, the Crooksaverse, the Glenn Crooks universe, and find out what's going on with him. One of the busiest men in show business because of Sirius XM, because of NYC, because of everything that he does. He's got Coaching Academy, all the local programming, everything that he does with NYC. So must follow, underline, exclamation, italicized, boldface, must follow Glenn. Seriously. And so it'll be good for Glenn, obviously, just coming down here and just safe travels. That's all we wish, as always. Safe travels. Come on down. Have a great call. And it'll be good to see Glenn and everybody for NYC coming up this weekend. We always like to give those kinds of previews and everything when it comes to what's going on. We always want to try and find out the opposition's side of things. And now we know. Whiskey Lullaby, Brad Paisley and Allison Krause. Whiskey Lullaby, Brad Paisley and Allison Krause. That is the kind of intel that we have here. That's the kind of stuff that we like to find out about. So there it is. That is it. And so, if I would have my Paul Harvey drop, I would sit here and say that we now know the rest of the story involving Ronnie Dyla. And the fact that he goes, that when he goes to Nashville, he'll go up and down Broadway and go into each and every establishment along Broadway and want to have Whiskey Lullaby played Drop a 20 on the bar, play Whiskey Lullaby, and I'm out the door. So now we know. Okay, so we're going to have this piece of information going forward. But no, it's always great to catch up with Glenn and find out what's going on with NYC as the Pigeons get ready to come down and play Atlanta United on the weekend. Okay, yesterday, as a part of everything that we do here on the network, you see over my shoulder our friends from Perry, Nathan Dooley, the head coach. We did the doubleheader down here, Warner Robins and Perry, and it is going to be a doubleheader day on the network. We're going to have two match days, and so set your notifications to figure out, okay, which match is going to be where. Drew Dickinson and I are going to be at the Battle of Five Forks, Trickham, Parkview, and Brookwood, 5:30 and 7:30 on the network, girls and boys, one following the other. And then Jason and Maddie are going to be at Sharp Stadium in Covington for North Oconee and Eastside. And so they will have that matchup for you, 5:30 and 7:30. Drew and I will have Parkview and Brookwood. One's going to be on, I think it's going to be SDH 1 and SDH 2, and then placed in other places. But right now, those are the two match days. Those are your two broadcast pairings. So it's going to be Drew Dickinson and myself at Brookwood for Parkview and Brookwood. Maddie and Jason are going to be at Sharp Stadium in Covington for Eastside, hosting North Oconee big region battles and rivalries and such. So yesterday, we were down here for Warner Robins and Perry, sweep for Perry as they're trying to secure region titles. And the Perry boys team had to do a turnaround from playing Benedictine on the coast to turn around, come back home, and then be prepared for a rivalry game against Warner Robins on both the boys and the girls side. Girls had the big win as they continue to push for a region title. And because of the loss at Benedictine on the boys' side, goal difference right now belongs to Perry if it comes down to teams with even records. But the first step is for Perry that they have to make sure that they had to get the win last night and then turn around. Last region game that they have is at the McConnell Talbert Stadium, where they take on Warner Robins at Warner Robins. And so we had those matches yesterday, and thanks to the coaches and the coaching staffs for all the intel and all of the lineups and the information to help us with the broadcast. But once again, double match day today, 5:30 and 7:30, two separate locations, two separate crews. Region play is picking up, and once again, thanks to everybody who's a part of that. Thanks to our friends at Kaiser Permanente right there, to as proud sponsors of the whole thing. So once again, great partners with us at Kaiser Permanente. But once again, thanks to Coach Dooley. And I was trying to figure out where I could have this and have it kind of like an over-the-shoulder graphic. And I don't know what it is. This is opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. We'll say hi to everybody and get your questions coming up in just a little bit and get you ready for hour two, because I think we're going to have special guests. And that's kind of what we like to do with Weekend Whip Around, is while we preview everything going on in Major League Soccer, if folks come in, they say their piece, they get in, they come out, they get in, they say their piece and get out. And so we'll see who the special guests are. We've alerted everybody. And so we'll see if folks visit for the third day in a row. So we'll see if that happens here coming up in hour number two. But opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. And as you well know, sometimes it's pretty random stuff that will pop into my head, and you sit there and you go, gee, random stuff pops into Nelson's head. Who knew? Anyway, I don't know when this was, and if there is any kind of how do we phrase? If there's any kind of explanation, or if there is a line of demarcation as to when this happened, I'd love to know. But in the old days, back in the days of black and white television and the horse-drawn carriage, pillows in hotel rooms actually used to be pillows. I mean, like, it would be, the thick pillow cases on the inside where, if you laid your head down, your head didn't sink all the way from one end of the pillow to the other. And it didn't turn into like a set of earmuffs that basically your head is in between. I don't know when this transition happened, but pillows are no longer really pillows as you and I know them in hotel rooms. And literally every single hotel I go to, it is one of those situations where you look at a pillow, and we'll tell you what. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can grab the other set of pillows, because I used one set of pillows as kind of like an over-the-shoulder buffer, so you could see once again our friends from Perry and the Perry Panthers and the gear that they have bestowed upon us. So let me go grab the pillow really quickly, and you can see what I'm talking about. So, all right, pillow. Now, I have this pillow here in front of me as evidence in my case, counselor. So all right. So this looks like a normal pillow. I mean, it does. It looks like a fairly normal pillow. Everything's fine. But then when you press into it, literally everything sinks to the bottom of the pillow, wherever the pillow bottom is. So it's just, I don't know when pillows cease to be pillows. But anyway, and you sit there and you're hoping that you can get a good night's rest, and then your head goes to the bottom of the pillow and you're kind of sinking into everything. I just wanted to know when. I just would like to know when pillows turned into more like those mattresses, or the mattresses that the inflatable mattresses. They're more inflatable mattresses now than they are pillows. But anyway, obviously, when you get into hotels, sometimes you're hoping for a good night's sleep, and then new pillows happen. But anyway, I didn't know when this happened and if there was any kind of a line of demarcation as to when it was. But when did pillows cease to be pillows in hotels? That's just a thought that popped into my head. And by the way, I love cup holders in cars. I really do. But sometimes the cups don't fit into the cup holders. They're either too skinny or too fat. And after the show is over, I'm going to have to go down to the Subaru and clean out the cup holder, because as I was checking into the hotel last night, there was an animal that was crossing the road. Dark road, not really a whole lot of lights except for mine heading to the hotel. And there was a certain animal that was crossing the path. He had to smash the brakes, and the cup holder kind of ceased to be a cup holder, and the contents of the cup went into the cup holder. And so I've got to turn around and hope that not everything is sticky in the cup holder. And I had to cease drinking that drink last night because most of it ended up in the cup holder because I was trying not to hit an animal. So anyway, so that's what I get to do in the parking lot after the show is over. So anyway, so there you go. When did pillows cease to be pillows in hotel rooms? And not every hotel access road is fully lighted. Found that out last night. And I also hope that I don't have to replace my tires, because I think I rolled over some glass in a parking lot when I was trying to get fuel and breakfast. So we'll see what happens with the two back tires of the Subaru. And D. Graham, I understand. D. Graham sits there and says, part of the transition to business, trying to save every penny possible instead of concentrating on providing good service. Not denying the good service. I mean, so far the service has been great here in this particular hotel. It's just like the little elements that you're used to. Being a creature of habit, it's like, I just want my pillow to be a pillow. I feel like a Seinfeld sketch at times. I just want my pillow to be a pillow. That's all I want. That's all I'm looking for. Just have my pillow be a pillow. I don't think I'm asking for much. Anyway, all right. So let's say hi to everybody and see who is in here on the Twitch pitch once again as we get ready for all the activity coming up here on the morning show. Once again, patent pending, trademark coming sooner, hopefully, rather than later, when it comes to the weekend whip around. We'll go through all of the matches in Major League Soccer and let you know what we think, see who comes and visits. We'll talk about Atlanta United, NYC, and we'll roll through it there. So once again, good morning, Alex, and good morning, Four Card. And let's see. So where are my sources? I don't want to just eliminate that particular part of it. I don't want that. No, I don't want that. Still trying to navigate the new thing here. So let's see. Morning D. Graham, morning Alex, morning Four Card, and morning to look. There we go. Goodness gracious, Four Card, Alex. Good morning. Let's see. So and D. Graham, and so if I missed somebody, because currently I don't want to expand it. I just want it contracted. It's like all I want. That's all I want. I just want to read. I just want to read what's here. Just want to read what's here. Nothing like things misbehaving in hotel rooms. That never happens. I think they heard my previous comments. So, morning Twitch pitch. Thanks for coming by. All right. To let everybody know what else is going on and where you can help out and all of all the cool stuff that we have going on. Once again, you can go old school. I don't think we have any of the old school stuff left, but you can go to the website, soccerdownhere.net, get the gear with the new logo and everything. You can also get some Attack and Ruckus stuff that Jason has created. Very, very cool stuff there. We had Matt Webb on yesterday from the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation. You can get all the Marshall Islands gear as we get ready for everything coming up, hopefully in August. They have the Kickstarter campaign if you wish to help out in that way or help out however you can if you are so inclined in dealing with what the Marshall Islands are trying to do is the last country here on the planet with a national soccer program. They're trying to get a 4-team tournament going with the Outrigger Cup in Arkansas, week of August 14th. And so right now with the Kickstarter campaign, they're at about 20%, and they've only been up a week. So very, very cool there. Go to the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation, get all the gear if you haven't. But if you get a scarf, it comes from me back in the office in Atlanta. Everything else, jerseys, bucket hats, pins, the whole schmear, that comes from England. That comes from Matt Webb, who was on the show yesterday, and Lloyd Hours, the technical director. Scarves come from me. Like I said, I got about 10 scarves left, and I've got to do a reorder. That's our small way of helping out when it comes to the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation Kickstarter campaign up and running. You can go to kickstarter.com and you can see the campaign and see what's going on there with them. Now, also, the partnership we have with Grady Baby and Grady Baby Co. If you the soccer has just been Atlanta sweatshirts. You get the SDH Net logo on the left sleeve, Grady Baby's logo on the right sleeve. You can get it in red, you can get it in black, and you can get T-shirt, you can get sweatshirt. So once again, soccer is just better in Atlanta. And if you go through Grady Baby to help out and you get that gear that's got the SDH logo on it, you help out middle school soccer programs attached to the Atlanta public school system as we continue to grow the game that way. Also, you can go to Olive & York. If you haven't gone to Olive & York yet, you can get your first ever SDH jersey at Olive & York. Navy jersey, thanks to our friends once again at Kaiser Permanente for being across the front. And it is Beyond Goals Mentoring on one sleeve, Soccer for Good on the other sleeve, and our friends at Kaiser Permanente across the front. You can get it personalized, the Navy jersey with either white letters and numerals or Carolina bluish, sky bluish, light blue, whatever your predilection is and whatever your thought pattern is. If you want to get it personalized, I'm not a personalized kind of person. But if you see Maddie or Sophia or Greg Garza modeling, they have personalized their jerseys, and Parky has his personalized. Navy jersey, you can personalize it one of two ways. You can get it done in either white letters and numerals or light blue letters and numerals, and you can have that kind of fun there with our friends at Olive & York. Get your first ever SDH jersey. You can also become a Fanatico. How do you become a Fanatico, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Here's how you do. What you do is you go to group. See now I can actually read it now because the need help logo group.chant.fan/ that's weird because I can type it here and it's not a problem. But if I type it in other desktops and laptops, it turns into an issue. Group.chant.fan/soccerdownhere/join. You can become a Fanatico. $10 a year. What do you do for $10 in a year? Well, you can become an SDH Fanatico, and thanks to those of you who have, and you can go to the Chant app, and you become a part of the conversations that we do here on the SDH network. You get a lot of discounts with a lot of partners, and the number of partners is growing. That is working forward with what we're doing here with SDH. And you get a lot of discounts. Even a resort in Costa Rica is a part of the discount chain. There are a lot of breweries that are attached. Moxie Hotel in Midtown is attached. The Lloyd Soccer Shop with Atlanta United Gear is attached. So there's a lot that you can do being a Fanatico, and do so at group.chant.fan/soccerdownhere/join. $10 a year, and you get to be a part of everything that we do here on the Chant app on the SDH Network side of things. Keep up to date with everything that we're doing. We get to keep up with everything that you're doing, and you do it for $10 a year and being a Fanatico here at SDH. Graham, I did see Riyad Mahrez holding up the no home kit, the no home jersey, the 2030 version. And I thought that was really cool. Riyad Mahrez holding up the kit. Very, very cool there. But yes, to become a Fanatico, group.chant.fan/soccer down here/join. And once again, thanks to all of them and thanks to all of the partners that we have. And they're growing numbers as well. Like I said, Lloyd's Soccer Shop, you can get discounts on certain Atlanta United gear. There are a lot of breweries that are there. O'Sullivan's in Decatur has discounts on a couple of different things. And like I said, Chateau Arenal in Costa Rica, that's the one that blows my mind the most, where if you want to go see Ala Valenza, you want to go see Herediano, you want to go see Saprissa, you want to stay at Chateau Arenal, if you're a Fanatico, you get a discount. So very, very cool stuff there across the board when it comes to being a Fanatico on the SDH Network. Okay, quick headline run, and we'll go through all of the gossip, rumor, and innuendo, because once again, hour number 2 is focusing on everything involving weekend whip around in Major League Soccer. So going and checking out what's up with gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and we'll take you into what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, those kinds of things. We'll get into that as well. So, all right. So before we get into MLS at the top of the hour, quickly, Newcastle have joined United, Spurs, West Ham, Chelsea, and Liverpool in chasing after Jonathan David. At this point, who hasn't? Manchester United also interested in Jared Branthwaite. That's from the 3-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. Liverpool rivaling Arsenal for the signature of Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt during the summer window. And remember, it looks like it's going to be the official super hyper extraordinaire extra special window from June 1 to 10, so teams can have transfers leading into the Club World Cup. So keep an eye out for that as well. And we'll keep an eye on the ticket prices when it comes to Club World Cup as well. Manchester United racing Newcastle and a number of top European clubs to sign Ekitike. Forest, Arsenal, and Liverpool are interested in Udinese striker Lorenzo Luca. Manchester United, West Ham are tracking Serie A defender Umar Solé. That's from Messaggero Veneto in Italian, in Italy. Liverpool, England defender Jarrell Quansah reportedly interesting Newcastle, but the Reds are not considering selling him. Besiktas, managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, are interested in signing Jadon Philogene from Ipswich on loan. That's from Fotomak in Turkey. Manchester City plotting a move to re-sign Bayer Leverkusen right back Jeremy Frimpong. Liverpool also interested. Forest interested in Belgian winger Alexis Salamakers, who's on loan at Roma from AC Milan. Liverpool expecting a big proposal from the Saudi League for Darwin Nunez. Spurs refusing to rule out selling Christian Romero after Atletico Madrid made their interest clear. Everton interested in Sunderland's 17-year-old forward Chris Rigg and 23-year-old midfielder Dan Neal. Millwall and Hibs are among the clubs tracking a winger from Cheltenham at 23 years old, Jordan Thomas. Spurs interested in bringing former manager Fabio Paratici back to the club, but so does AC Milan. We need to catch up with Nick and find out about that. Bayern Munich could also look at recalling players from loan spells a few weeks early so they can play in the Club World Cup, including 19-year-old French forward Mathilde Thies, who is currently involved in time with Spurs. And so that is your gossip, rumor, and innuendo. And if you were looking for any other news, notes, things to kick off your day, there's always the Morning Espresso brought to us by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Can come at you either in one of 3 ways. It can come at you as Jason lets you know all the news that kicks off your day. About 15 minutes worth of time. It's either in audio form, video form, or in newsletters. You can take it in one of those 3 ways. And once again, thanks to our friends at Oglethorpe University for being proud sponsors of the Morning Espresso and letting Jason have his early morning rant, or just letting you know what the news is going on in and around the world of soccer. Okay, today, BN and BN Espanol simulcasting the Turkish Super League at 1:30. Fenerbahce is on at 1:30. Strasbourg and Lyon is on at 3:45. If you do not have the BNs, you don't have them, Nuestra Tele, CDO, For the Fans, Liga 1 Max Pro, our buddy Nino Torres and Gold TV. You can get that at fntz.co/soccerdownhere and use the code. You go to fntz.co/soccerdownhere, and then it helps out the network, helps out their network, helps out our network, and it helps you continue to be a continued degenerate when it comes to everything going on in the world of soccer. More stuff for you to watch, more leagues to watch. Anyway, being in Espanol, simulcasting the Turkish Super League and the French League at 1:30 and 3:45. ESPN Deportes has La Liga at 4 o'clock. Athletic Club and Osasuna on the Plus. It is that La Liga matchup. The Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen at 3:30. Bundesliga B at 1:30 tonight. FC Tulsa, Sacramento, and USL Championship. Now, MLS Next Pro, MLSNextPro.com. Revs 2, Toronto FC 2 is at 3 o'clock. Hunt City and Philadelphia Union 2 is at 8. We have the matchup on the network this Sunday afternoon, 3:30 kick. So our pregame is at 3 o'clock, and it'll be on the network at soccerdownhere.mixler.com and however you consume our audio. So we'll have Atlanta United 2 and Chattanooga FC, 3 o'clock pregame, 3:30 kick, Sunday afternoon. So it's a busy weekend for us across the board. 2 matchups on MLSNextPro.com today. Paramount Plus, Sheffield United, Coventry City, as folks are either trying to get into the playoffs, keep their place in the playoffs, or improve their position in the playoff chase. That's at 4 o'clock. VEEX has Liga MX, Necaxa Querétaro at 9, and Mazatlan and Atlas is at 11. Amazon Prime has their matchup for their Friday Night Football. Washington and Bay is at 8 o'clock. ESPN 3, very early in the morning. Traditionally, we'll have the A-League for you. Houston and Gotham is also on NWSL Plus. VEEX has Liga MX Femenil, 5:45, 8, and 10. Cruz Azul Querétaro, Mazatlan Necaxa, and Santos Laguna and America. So that is the rundown of everything that you can watch today. That does not include what's going on the weekend. Not a bit. And good morning, Pars. Thanks for coming in, as you always do. So once again, reminders, high school action, SDH 1 and 2, on the Mixler app or at soccerdownhere.mixler.com, soccerdownhere and the number 2.mixler.com. Keep an eye out for your notifications as to what is where, and follow us on social media, and you can see what's going on in and around the SDH universe. High school doubleheaders and 2 channels, 2 match sites tonight, this afternoon and tonight. Then once again, it'll be everybody at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for NYC and Atlanta United on Saturday night. Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock pregame, Atlanta United 2 and Chattanooga FC. And in the pregame show, you'll hear from Steve Cook, the head coach of Atlanta United 2. So it'll be a good conversation with him. They had the week off. They got to help out the first team with all the absences for the match to FC Cincinnati. And so that's kind of where we are with all of our content here on the network. Bart Keeler and the Soccer for US POD, episode 114 is ready to go. That'll be posted later today as well. So you'll get to hear what the Soccer for US POD group has when it comes to their thoughts involving the U.S. men's national team and what did not happen in Nations League. And so we'll keep an eye on that. Also, the Premier League owners are rejecting calls to close the summer transfer window early. There is a divide, according to Sam Wallace at The Telegraph, between sporting directors and club chiefs that prevents a vote on the proposal. League owners, chief execs rejecting a recommendation from their own sporting directors that the summer transfer window should close in time for the start of the season. Decision was made at the shareholders meeting that the proposal revealed by The Telegraph that the window to close on August 14th, 2 days before the start of the season, shouldn't even go to a vote. Sporting directors equivalent at the 20 clubs met last month, formulated proposals for the window to shut before the season begins in order that managers would know the scope of their squads in advance. Remember, we have the super extra extraordinary window that's going to open from June 1 to June 10 before the Club World Cup. And so that's going to be on the 14th, and that's why you can't have a 60-day window for the transfers in the Premier League. So that's why the transfer window is what it is, broken up in 2, and they want to have the super extraordinary extra special window from June 1 to 10 leading into the Club World Cup. And so that's why you see a lot of the navigating that's attached there when it comes to Club World Cup and opening of transfer windows and all the things. So you got to keep an eye on that. We want to welcome back everybody from international break and get you back into fixing your fantasy teams appropriately and getting ready for all of the play on the weekend. So just to give you an idea when it comes to the juice boxes in the Prem, I'll give you the juice boxes in the Prem. So on April 1, and literally it's April 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So literally they wait until April 1 to get everything squared away. So it's like Monday night, Tuesday night, and everything goes in from there. So getting everything squared away for April 1st, we'll give you those. Arsenal's a minus 227 hosting Fulham, who's rather interesting composite number at a plus 666. Wolves and West Ham. Wolves a plus 141, plus 202 for West Ham. And Forest is a plus 120 hosting Manchester United. When was the last time you had that as a juice box? And so Manchester United is a plus 217 on the road. So you have that to look at. FA Cup semis. It is an FA Cup semis weekend. So it is tomorrow at 8:15 in the morning, Fulham and Crystal Palace. Fulham favored at a plus 133. Palace a plus 214. 90-minute draws a plus 2.25. 1:15 tomorrow afternoon. Brighton a minus 123 at home hosting Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest a plus 313 on the road. 90-minute draws a plus 281. Tomorrow, and so on Sunday, Preston North End at home a plus 575 hosting Aston Villa, who's a minus 222. Bournemouth and Manchester City, that's your heavyweight battle at the Vitality at 11:30 Sunday morning. Bournemouth a plus 181. Manchester City is a plus 127. And your 90-minute draw is a plus 267. So that is where we are with that's where we are with those particular numbers. And so that's what you're staring at when it comes to the welcoming back of English football. So it starts with FA Cup, and then it goes from FA Cup and pushes through this weekend and gets you back to a double match week. So set your fantasy team, set your fantasy team, set your fantasy teams for activity that starts on Monday as you get through FA Cup. Now, really quickly to go through all the other news, notes, and nuggets that might have slipped through once again. Morning Espresso with Jason has your up-to-date story with Alphonso Davies, Canada Soccer, and the club that currently would like to play him that is not of national team attachment, and the words going back and forth with agents and Canada Soccer and clubs and things like that. That's a bit of a row. And so you end up with, you want to talk about a row, that is a row. And so Jason has that, and then he's got all the other early news, notes, and nuggets and things left unsaid for you at Morning Espresso. And so that's an opportunity to go and find out what's on Jason's mind when it comes to everything going on in the world of soccer. And so Pep Guardiola has his press conference today leading into FA Cup. And I'm trying to find the quote where Guardiola was like, no, we don't deserve any bonuses. But asked if it's good for the game if the teams outside the Big Six are thriving this season, going deep in the FA Cup. Quote, that proves how good they are. We see it every week in the Premier League. They prove it again in the FA Cup in England. Always the biggest topic is any team can beat any team. Of course, two teams, Liverpool and Arsenal, have done amazing in the Premier League, but the rest, anything can happen. Guardiola was asked if his City squad would get a bonus if they won the Club World Cup. Quote, we don't deserve a bonus this season, not even a watch. That's the level of frustration that Pep Guardiola has. But I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong. I really don't. Asked if the City squad would get a bonus if they won the Club World Cup. Quote, we don't deserve a bonus this season, not even a watch. Like I said, man ain't wrong. USL Championship, USL League One, going through some of the matchups to keep an eye on. Lou City and Detroit City, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Lou City at Lynn Families, a minus 164, hosting Detroit City, who's a plus 367. Indy 11, Colorado Springs. Indy 11 favored at a plus 140. Lex SC is favored with San Antonio visiting at a plus 119. San Antonio's a plus 211. The Miami FC, a massive underdog at home. New Mexico United coming to South Florida at a minus 200 tonight. FC Tulsa, Sacramento. FC Tulsa is an underdog at a plus 194. Sacramento Republic is a plus 121. Hartford Athletic favored at home against El Paso Locomotive. We mentioned Rhode Island on the road being favored at Loudoun at a plus 127. Lou City a minus 164 favored. Indy 11 plus 140 favored against Colorado Springs. We mentioned Lexington. We mentioned the Miami FC. North Carolina FC favored at a plus 145 hosting Charleston. Pittsburgh a minus 141 hosting Birmingham Legion. Monterey Bay a plus 145 hosting Phoenix Rising at a plus 165. Oakland Roots a plus 194 hosting Vegas Lights, who are a plus 122. Maddie Cruz joining us as we roll through things here to kick off hour number 2. Weekend whip around, patent pending, trademark coming sooner, hopefully, rather than later. And hello, Maddie Cruz.
Hello.
Okay, so Glenn Crooks, play-by-play voice for NYC.
Yes.
He was on in the first half hour of the show. I don't know if you were listening, but he has some Ronnie Dyla intel that I think we need to pursue going forward.
Okay.
Off the field, Ronnie Dyla intel.
Okay.
Apparently, and the story goes that Ronnie Dyla went to Nashville, and he, Broadway being Broadway, Broadway,
Yes.
in Nashville. Apparently, one of Ronnie Dyla's favorite songs is "Whiskey Lullaby" by Brad Paisley and Alison Krauss.
Good song.
He went into basically every bar on Broadway, requested the song be played, dropped a 20, had the song played, and then went to the next bar. So
that's brilliant.
When the moment is appropriate, not just in a random thing where, hey, coach, you're playing the reigning MLS Cup champs, or you're playing LAFC, or you're playing somebody tough in the Eastern Conference. So yeah, coach, you're playing Columbus. What's this I hear about Whiskey Lullaby and a trip to Nashville? But apparently Whiskey Lullaby by Alison Krauss and Brad Paisley is like his favorite song, his favorite country song.
It's a good song. I mean, he's got good taste. And
had it played in every bar on Broadway. And
hilarious.
So we have to keep that piece of intel. And I'm Bart. I don't know if Ronnie is a sad boy, but this is a piece of intel given to us by Glenn Crooks, and I have it written down, and it's on tape, and it's on the show in hour number 1. So
what would have been even funnier is if he had gone to each bar and then they all were playing the song at the same time.
Oh, see now that if they had a coordinated playing and it goes throughout every speaker and onto Broadway and 20 bars.
I need you to play this at 9:54.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Oh, and then you play it. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, so we have this piece of information, and we'll have a moment when we can use it. But now, please file this piece of information away for future reference when it comes to anything and everything involving Ronnie Dyla. So you have your iced coffee this morning?
Yes, I had to go get one because I ran out of milk to use for my coffee maker, and I was like, I need it. It's a needed thing, so I was like, I'll just go to Dunkin', I guess, and it's only $3, so
okay.
Dunkin' order. I'm gonna put you guys on. Ready? It's an iced coffee.
Yes.
I get 2 caramel, 2 cream, and I put a little pump of butter pecan in there.
Okay.
Pecan.
Pecan. It's pecan pie or pecan or whatever. Yeah. And so D. Graham once played $5 of La Bamba at Waffle House. So I think that's 3 or 4 different times through. And yes, this is from our friend Nathan Dooley.
That's awesome.
And so that's from yesterday, and he also gave me things to carry with. But all right, so let's discuss anything and everything going on with Atlanta United. And what was it like at practice this week, seeing everything as they got ready for NYC, coming off of the 2-2 draw in Cincinnati? What was the vibe like from the time that you got to spend up there at practice?
Yeah, I mean, well, players were coming back from international break, so it was kind of slow moving as to when people were coming in and what was going on. Tuesday was a longer session, normally what they would normally do. You still were missing a lot of the guys, so you were still dealing a little bit with the roster, not everyone being there. But it was great. Talked to Cayman Togashi, and then we also talked to Mateusz Klich as well. Just talked about the game, talked about Cincinnati. That was actually Cayman's second goal, assisting a goal off of a throw-in, apparently.
Okay.
Done it before. But it was great talking to both of them just about the game, about heading into NYC. Obviously, at that point in the week, they've done a little bit of research, but not a lot. So there's not really a lot to go off of, especially talking about NYC. That was really for Thursday. Thursday was a lighter session. It was a very short session. We got to watch the entire thing. We talked about this in Dispatch, so I'm going to recommend you totally watch me and Jason in Training Ground Dispatch. It's up on YouTube. Go watch it. It's a ton of fun. I'm going to be linking it in our preview today as well, so go watch it. But we talk about it a lot more, and Jason probably explains it better than I do. But they did a lot of exercises and a lot of fun competitions. And normally the outsider would say, why are they playing games? It's a couple days ahead of match day. It's well, there's a reason for it. They were playing these games. It was I believe it was gray versus red, because you had guys in red pennies. I believe if you go check Atlanta United's socials, they did post the winners of it. It was the red pennies. They won. Basically it was just competition between them. And it was just games, I think one of them had to start juggle. They had to juggle the ball 10 times between all of them. Then they had to run through the mannequins, go in between, get to another box, and then pass it all the way back. And they had to restart it from that one touch and juggle it 10 more times until everyone made it over. That was one of them. And the idea of it is, obviously it's a little bit of a lighter session. It's fun. It gets everyone going, but it's also a level of competition. It's a level of competition for both of them to have. That way you're still emulating that competition element.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets them in that competition mindset, because they're all players. They all want to win. Everyone wants to win. And so that kind of helps with that. It helps with the competition element of it all. That way you get in that mindset of wanting to fight, getting competition, and it's a great team bonding exercise as well. And you had a lot of guys coming back in. Bartosz Slić was back. You had, Stian Gregerson was back. Who am I forgetting? Luke Brennan, Noah Cobb, they were all back as well. The only two that were not were Miguel Almiron and Luis Abram. They were not there. I believe they flew in pretty early. So, that they needed rest. They were on a flight for a while, so they were not at training. But no, it was an easy session. Really great stuff from Derek Williams and from Ronnie Dyla. We talked about it all in Dispatch, so I'm not going to say too much more. So you guys got to go watch it. This is my team.
Go watch Dispatch is what you're saying.
Do it. And also, yes, Bart, Duncan is goated. I am not. That's the thing, though. I'm not someone that I like both Starbucks and Duncan, but I like Duncan a lot more because it likes my bank account a lot more. So,
yes.
Starbucks is a treat I'll get. If I have rewards, I'm ooh, okay, I'll use it. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm feeling I like their refreshers, and I get their peach green tea lemonade too from Starbucks.
Wait, what?
An iced peach green tea lemonade. It's really good. It's really good. I'm just saying, John. No, it's not Mountain Dew. I apologize. It's not Mountain Dew.
An iced peach green tea lemonade. You blended 3 different things there.
It's basically they have an iced peach green tea.
Okay.
Basically, it's what it is, and then I just add lemonade to make it. Sweeter.
Okay, that's the piece of information.
Yeah, I add lemonade to make it sweeter. That's those are I've been getting the refresher recently, but I get just the coffee. So
okay, cool. We have our first gate crasher for a weekend whip around, by the way. And by the way, Tyler, go ahead and continue celebrating, sir. See, all right. So, Maddie, do you know the story here involving Tyler and his very, 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 very busy week? It was not a no good, very bad day for Tyler. It was 3 days in a row that Tyler has visited us here on the morning show.
So I did hear about the crashing on Thursday, because then I also crashed.
That is true.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
So we all crash at the
Yeah.
same time.
So
It was like
Tyler comes in on his normal guest spot, and he understands that that hour number 2 is the Friday street fight, where we discuss anything and everything going on in Major League Soccer. And so Tyler's calendar apparently told him that he should have come in yesterday as well. So 3 days in a row. I mean, I feel like we should stamp your ticket for like frequent guesting, Tyler. And like, you get to 10 and you get an iced peach. What is it, Maddie? An iced?
Oh my gosh. It's an iced peach green tea, and then I add lemonade. It's from Starbucks. It's really good.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she's big into Starbucks. All right. So when are you flying in?
I'm leaving in an hour and 10 minutes, and I haven't packed yet. So we're fine. We're fine.
So
also, are you drinking, by the way? Is that a beer?
Bite your tongue, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I mean, that's more poisonous than alcohol. That's more poisonous than alcohol, to be fair. But anyway, John, family show. I just had to ask. Okay?
Hashtag family show. Yes.
Had to ask.
I mean,
you said it, and now I can't see it because now it looks like it. And he showed it, and I was like, John?
Yeah.
No,
easily could have been a Pacifico. I don't know if you have any beer sponsors on the show, and I apologize to anybody.
Look, if you're going to encourage it, I will take it. But no, this is Prestone. That's what this is. It's Prestone antifreeze. Yeah, but I mean, look, an hour and 10 minutes. The stereotypic male can sit there and it's like, okay, suit 1, 2, double pack. How long am I gone? 2 days. Okay, so I'm packing for 4 separate situations. But inquiring minds. When are you landing in town?
It's a phenomenal question. I think at around 2:15.
Okay, so then that means you're getting to the hotel about 4. Are you staying in downtown Atlanta?
Getting to the hotel about 4. Is the airport 90 minutes away?
Good Lord. But traffic will make it 90 minutes on Fridays.
Yeah, sure. Hotel around 3:34. Let's call it
3:34 o'clock. Okay, so you're looking. Let's see. Well, but he could take more. But where are you staying downtown, Tyler? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. There's a Kimpton down there.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So you're staying in downtown, in and around Centennial Olympic Park. You're Ubering everywhere. Okay, so what are you in the mood for come dinner? What kind of experience are you looking for?
Really anything today. I'm feeling dangerous. I'm feeling frisky. Send me any which way. I'm up for whatever.
Okay. So this is why we're here. It is help you. We are helping you when it comes to your dinner recommendations. And then I think the consensus in the morning for breakfast or brunch is Martin's.
Martin's.
Yeah, Martin's. And so you might so that's what you got to do. All right. So dinner. So let's see, dinner, and you're feeling kind of dangerous, and you're going to be in and around downtown. Okay, so Maddie, let's help the man out here. Maddie's doing some searching.
I'm searching actually right now.
So, all right. So, and I had mentioned Fat Matt's to you for barbecue. And everybody sits there and says Fox Brothers, Fox Brothers, Fox Brothers. Okay, great, fine. But Fat Matt's is literally, it is a part of the fabric of Atlanta, and it is in the Lindbergh area. And so literally all you'd have to do when you leave downtown, you take an Uber down Piedmont Avenue, you go to Fat Matt's Rib Shack. Go hungry first and foremost. If you're going to do like ribs or barbecue or anything like that here in Atlanta, go hungry because the portions are going to be huge. But I would say if you're looking barbecue off the top of my head, I'd go Fat Matt's Rib Shack. That's just me.
Ooh, it's only a little 7-minute drive from the hotel. Lovely.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, lovely.
Well, I got one. If you want more of like almost like Italian, almost more of like pasta pizza, Little Iazzo is really good. And it's on Northside Drive.
Little Iazzo?
Little Azio, A-Z-I-O. Little Azio on Northside Drive. It's Northside Drive and 75. Little Azio. I will traditionally get what is it? I will get the angel hair pasta, and I will add chicken when I go to Little Azio's.
That's counterculture, by the way. I didn't know this until Weston McKinney did an interview when he was talking about what he eats with pasta while he's obviously playing for Juventus. And supposedly the Italians, they really do not like you to put the protein in the pasta. It's the pasta dish and then the protein on its own. So now when I eat it, I feel like a fraud. Now if I like add protein to my pasta, I feel like I'm a fake human being. It's fake news, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
No.
We're being asinine and ignorant Americans if we're doing it, and I don't want to perpetuate that.
Ooh, David, excellent point. Excellent point from David. Murphy's in the Virginia Highlands, great brunch. Murphy's, I agree with this. So I will second Murphy's for brunch.
Oh, Caleb Wiley's dad, yes.
Well, yeah.
So if you're going pizza, Caleb Wiley's dad's pizza joint, that's actually closer to the airport. So you might actually be able to hop on the MARTA line. And depending on an Ubery, situation. So if you want to go pizza, then probably to do the Caleb Wiley bit, go to the pizza restaurant, but it's closer to the airport than it is downtown Atlanta. That's the only caveat when it comes to your Ubering. So I will second Murphy for your brunch.
Okay.
In Virginia Highland. And so we have Caleb Wiley's dad's pizza joint. We have the Wiley family pizza joint. We have Little Ozio if you're looking for Italian. And we also have Fat Matt's Rib Shack if you're looking for a lot of meat on the bone, and you can get it in a bunch of different places. There might even be music, because it is also known for its blues sit-ins for folks on weekends as well. So
yeah,
and you will be able to smell Fat Matt's as you are traveling north on Piedmont Ave. You can roll down the windows of the Uber. You will be able to sense when you are becoming closer to Fat Matt's.
You're hyping this up, John. This better not let me down. Also, dumb question. Surely there are TVs for me to be able to watch the madness, correct?
I would say in theory, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and besides, since we are a mobile society anyway, I believe you have one of these, do you not?
I do, but I try to not be that guy who's just like zoned in on his phone. I'd rather be with the people, amongst the people watching the same TV. Be like, oh, see that dunk from Cooper Flag? That guy's from Maine. I didn't know they could do that over there. That's the extent of my basketball commentary, by the way.
There you go. Antico on 14th near Georgia Tech. So pizza joints over by Georgia Tech as well. Okay. What has study hall been like for you getting ready for Atlanta and NYC? As we said, as I said to Glenn Crooks when he came on in the first half hour, I just said NYC. I didn't go NYCFC. I didn't say Patriots. I just said NYC.
You don't know anything in the jar then. Good for you. You live to fight another day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the call for that crazy game where Nicholas Firmino scored the game winner. And I believe his first MLS goal. So I'm trying to think about that game, which was on a Wednesday. And as is customary at the Benz, there was still 35,000 people there for a random Wednesday game against New York City, and it's just
we ain't disappointing you, brother. That ain't gonna happen.
Proper soccer town. This is why. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's been good. I think that from an Atlanta standpoint, we talked to Ronnie. He said he will definitely celebrate. There's no holding back against his former club or anything like that, but he will not be streaking if they win a regular season game in week 6. So I can confirm that. Breaking news here on John's show, but
too early. # family.
Yeah. Family show. But I don't know. It's just I'm pretty down on this New York City team right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have 4.3 million in GAM left, which basically is everything. I mean, they have so much wiggle room and they have so much to work with. And I'm looking at their roster and their only DP who's playing right now. Oh, geez, I scared Madison away. Their only DP who's playing.
We're good with Irish goodbyes here.
I love it.
No, actually, it was a dump. Somebody dumped Maddie.
What? Was it you?
No, it was not me. I'm more focused on my caffeine, sir. I am nowhere close to.
Jordan says in the chat that Maxi Morales is starting to grade. It happened a long time ago, unfortunately for him. I love Maxi Morales, but this group, they didn't change anything, nothing from last season, and they have the most amount of GAM left in Major League Soccer. And I'm looking at this new coach, and I asked him, I was just this group has had a tendency to be very, very inconsistent and very streaky, particularly on the attacking side of the ball. Do you see that? And he's just he didn't say no.
Pascal Janssen didn't say no, but
yeah, he didn't say no. He's like, I understand why there's going to be comparisons to the previous teams. I was just like, it's not even like it's a previous team or previous regime. You're just inheriting literally the same exact thing that you got, from poor Nick Cushing. But anyway, I am curious to see what the 11 looks like for Atlanta. How many of the guys who are away are going to start? Because a lot of the guys who were on international break played, and were playing significant minutes. So. Big week for that. And then Kendra, my counterpart, she went on Scarves and Spikes. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention other shows.
No, we are part of the Informational Exchange Journalistic Atlanta United program. Yeah.
Is there an acronym for that?
I'll try and come up with one.
There you go. And she was like, this needs to be 9 points from Atlanta. That's what this needs to be. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Her and I disagree basically on everything. But I was just like, yeah, I get it. In theory, yeah, if you're thinking about the money poured into this roster, but I'm still not convinced that everybody's on the same page, and going into an international break 4 weeks into the season doesn't help for synergy's sake. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to be back at the Benz, and I'm excited for this culinary adventure that I'm going to go on, and hopefully, I don't have any issues, from a plumbing standpoint. And,
no. We never steer you wrong. Maddie Cruz for Tyler Terrence before Tyler catches a plane.
Oof. I think looking at the match overall, what are some things you want to see from both sides, from NYC and from Atlanta? Because they're kind of in weird situations when you look at how the season's played out at the beginning. Atlanta started out hot. It's been kind of a, each game they're getting better, but, got to find something in the goal. You got to find some goals. And then NYC has kind of been just floating by, I feel like. So looking at this game, what do you want to see from both sides?
Starting with Atlanta, I think I really want to see a mixture of... You're not wrong. I think I want to see... the... keep drinking your beer over there, guy. I want to see a mixture of attack. Can I talk about the soccer for a second without you guys just trying to, throw me off the rails here? I want to see
what?
I want to see Brooks Lennon with 3 or 4 really good deliveries and getting forward. And let's say Miggy's starting. I don't know if he will. I want to see good delivery, but then I also want to see the combination and Saba and Alexi and those guys tiki-taka, getting things done, in tight spaces, mixing up the attack, because I think that that's what this group is sort of capable of, is hurting you in 3 or 4 different ways, which is great if you're Ronnie Dyla. And that, I think, was the idea behind building this roster if you're Garth Lagerwey. If you're I almost said it. If you're New York City or if you're NYC, this is going to be an awful weekend. Awful weekend.
That's a dollar.
If you're NYC, I think you want to find yourself on the counter more times than not. I think that if New York City is going to try to play, they're going to get smoked. I think that if they try to keep the ball, I think that Atlanta will kill them on the counter. I think that New York City needs to let them have the ball, which I know goes against the City Football Group, Bible. But I think that that's going to be their key to success, because Alonso Martinez is not a tight quarters type of operating striker. Hannes Wolf and those guys, they need room to play. And I felt like against Columbus, they just didn't have that, and they were just bad. I mean, they were just really bad on the ball, and Pascal Janssen said as much. And so from them, it's just figure out a game plan, figure out a way where you can have some of the ball, but also operate on the counter, because I think that that's the only way you're going to beat Atlanta on the road. But like John said, at this point in my life, being a neutral commentator every weekend, I just hope and pray for the over every single time I wake up. It's just more fun. It's just more fun.
Absolutely. Do you need to go pack and catch your flight?
I got another 40 minutes before I need to leave the house. I could stay on and chat for the next 35 and figure it out. Maddie's this poor guy is what is wrong with him?
Stresses me out. I'm such a packer that'll pack the night before, and I'm also the person that gets to the airport so early. I get so nervous. My last airport adventure was when every flight closed down because of the snow. I am now scarred for life. I'm scarred. We were on the way to the U.S. soccer game in Orlando, and we got trapped. I wanted to cry. I was
when I reverse engineer me leaving, like my fiance will be like, all right, what time are you leaving tomorrow? And I'll be like, all right, flight is boarding at 12:20. So I want to get there at 12:05. And so if I want to get there at 12:05, then I need to leave the house at like 11:35. Like, clear TSA pre-checked. I'm flying out of Cincinnati, which basically is not really an airport. It's more just sort of a place
Northern
where I go.
Kentucky is what it is, sir. You're playing out of CBG.
It is Northern Kentucky. But anyway, yeah, I am. I like to push the limits more than I probably should. I have not been burned just yet, but it's bound to happen when you take 100 flights a year. It is bound to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, traditionally for me, because we at all points of our lives, we've been producers. And so producers back time their lives. So it's like, well, if I've got to be in the airport at X time, that means I got to go back here. And the thing is, everything is perfect in your rundown. You don't account for breaking wind and the weatherman taking an extra 45 seconds from you, and you're sitting there going, oh, crap. It literally is like, okay, so if I've got to be here, that means it's an hour 10 and it's 40 minutes back and it's this and this and this, and you've got it all laid out and everything's fine. But then there's a wreck or, something happens and all this reverse engineering and producing just goes right in the toilet and everything gets flushed. I can relate. All right. So
what does breaking wind for the weatherman have to do with anything? Well, why does that take away 45 seconds? Like, what does that mean?
When weather breaks, there's breaking news and breaking wind. So when news breaks, it's breaking news. When weather events happen and there's a thunderstorm warning or a tornado watch or something, that to me is breaking wind. It's breaking news and breaking wind always takes time away from the sports guy. You know this.
I didn't know it was referred to as breaking wind. I just thought
at least by me it is anyway.
I thought that was something that I did on a perpetual basis whenever I have Skyline Chili, but who am I?
See, now I need a rim shot for these, man. You're setting these things up here, and Maddie's going, "Oh my God, I've walked into guy humor."
I'm still laughing at your whole explanation of everything with the weather and everything. I have never heard that.
Well, look, having worked in local TV news, you sit there and it's like, yeah, I know that they're going to screw me. And they always take the time. Literally, the show is always like this. And you always end up taking time from sports. Oh, it's like you start with 2.5 minutes and you end up with 1:45. And you're going, why? Well, the weather guy went long. Well, tell him not to go long. That's how it always goes. Come on, though. That's how it always is in local news. All right. Here in this hour, we'll always talk about all the other matches. We'll go through all the juice boxes and find out what else is going on in the brains of everybody who joins. So we'll play cliffhanger. We'll do it this way, like we did on The Price is Right. If you sit there and you see a match you want to talk about, then yell stop or just start talking about it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going with the juice boxes and all the matchups of all the matches, desirable, undesirable, and otherwise. And that's what we do here in hour number 2. And by the way, Tyler, you know that you have golden ticket status and can crash. Now that you have the keys to the studio, you can come in on any Friday that you want. You don't necessarily have
I've already come in on a Thursday too. I know that I can crash inadvertently as well. Yes, I'm very aware of the power that I now have. Yes.
You do have absolute power and absolute.
I actually probably should go because I also need to eat before I shower and pack and leave for the airport. So a few things to get done. But love you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you for this.
Right. Well, that's what we're here for. So go pack and go shower and wear your Liverpool stuff to CVG and just get down here safe. Okay.
Sounds good, guys. See you soon.
All right. There goes Tyler. So Tyler's going to go. Let's see. So Tyler's going to pack and he's going to shower and he's going to try and be out of the house in 40 minutes.
That stresses me out. I'm sitting over here not having to go anywhere and it stresses me out. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Like I said, producers always back time their lives. That's what I'm saying.
I was a producer for a little bit, and that still stresses me out.
Yes. And so Alex is mentioning everything having to do with breaking wind, and he says it's the butt or fly effect.
God. Jason's going to come in for this next half, and he's just going to be like, what is happening?
Well, but it's the chaos that is here on a Friday. Bart says he makes a spreadsheet with check boxes of all the things packing for a trip. Always plan to.
That's me. Like I'll write in my notes everything I need to pack, and I make sure I have it, and then I check everything like 3 times before I leave because I don't like leaving anything, especially. If it's
I double pack. I double pack in case I spill something on something, and it's got to be ready for an extra day, if not two, in case travel happens and weather happens and you're stuck and all
I
these
always
kinds of
do.
things.
I always
So,
pack it for an extra because you just have to. You can never be too sure.
So no, I am right there with. I'm right there with you. Okay, so other games that we have going on, and when Jason comes back in, we'll go through and we'll pick up where we were. Revs are a dog at home against Red Bulls at 2:30, which means 2:40, and I would recommend probably doing other things at 2:40 in the afternoon instead of watching Red Bulls at the Revs. Red Bulls are favored at a plus 147.
Red Bulls are going to kill them. I'm saying it right
now. Also at 2:40, it is Toronto hosting Vancouver, and once again, I would recommend probably watching something else that is not Red Bulls and Revs, but maybe something else. Vancouver favored on the road at Toronto. Vancouver's a plus 143. Toronto's a plus 177. Your draw's a plus 244. Robin Fraser is in for another long day.
Yeah, that one is rough. That one is going to be rough. Vancouver, especially too, you got a pissed off Vancouver too. They're coming into this after a loss against Chicago Fire. They are going to be mad, and they're going to come in and just. Which, by the way, little teaser, we'll be recording MLS 6-pack later today as well. I had the chance to catch up with Joe Chats for Chicago Fire, and we talked a little bit about all that stuff. So just keep an eye out.
Yes. See, you need to get the plugs in. That's the way it needs to go.
A little more to that game though, but continue.
4:40, Colorado hosting Charlotte. And Jordan's already laying out his picks. He says Colorado may be over Charlotte, but
I would agree because I think Colorado is I feel like they're going to be a team that's going to just come in really fast, and they're going to be a team to watch out for, especially in the West.
Okay.
Already Vancouver's surpassed that, but I think Charlotte's been on a run, and I honestly, and this is not even anything like that, I feel like Charlotte's been kind of lucky in kind of the things that they've done in that last game.
Literally, I've seen the game plan from the offensive coordinator, Dean Smith, sit there and it's like, all right, Wilf, go long.
Yeah.
Literally. It's like Zaha on a vert, and we'll get it to you. We'll just throw a bomb.
I mean, listen, it's fair. Like, they're winning games, and that's what you want. You want the 3 points, and they're getting the 3 points. It's absolutely fair. I just think, especially in that match against San Jose, I think a lot of people are really overreacting that one, especially since it's a 4-1 win. I'm sorry. Like, San Jose has kind of been, like, they haven't been the best. So,
like, which one are you getting? Which San Jose are you getting?
So for me, like, you're looking at that game, and yes, it's a dominating performance from Charlotte, and absolutely. But I don't think you can look at that match and say, yes, this is the team. I really am interested to see how they test on the road, because this is a really big road test, because the only other road test they've had that's been really, really crazy for them, that tie against Seattle, where a own goal saved them. And they lost against Inter Miami when Inter Miami was down 10 men early on. That was all on the road. How are they going to fare against Colorado Rapids? Because that's a hard place to play.
Especially when you have all the rabid prairie dogs there as well.
Colorado wins it.
Colorado's a plus 135 as a favorite. 90-minute draw is a plus 249, and Charlotte is a plus 185. 7:30s, two others in addition to the one that we'll save. DC and Columbus. DC favored at home still. DC favored at home against Crew. Crew on the road is a plus 168. Your draw is a plus 256. DC United is a plus 145. DC United favored at home against Columbus.
Columbus got to get someone scoring. They just don't have that. I mean, they don't have Cucho anymore. They've got to find somebody. Me and Joe talked about it when we did our interview. I'm going to agree with him. I think DC might take this one. I think DC might take it. I think Benteke is someone that, going up against him is so difficult. You ask any defender, he's just difficult to play against. And I don't think Columbus has gotten anything. And they got to find it. They have to find it now. And will they do it on the road against DC? We shall see.
Messi and friends hosting Philadelphia.
Oh.
Big favorite at home at a minus 175.
Oh, that's a good one.
And draws a plus 351 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Philadelphia is a plus 391. What say you?
This one is going to be so interesting. And a part of me is so sad that it's happening right when Atlanta's playing NYC because, I honestly don't know. I think this might be if I'm going to give my picks for, I think, a Sunday night soccer, I think this is it because it's two really good teams now in the East. Now, Philly, since losing to Nashville, that is also interesting because everyone was talking about how good Philadelphia has been. They come in and they get, I don't want to say dog walked because I don't want to say that, but Nashville came in and really got the upper hand in that game. Philly has been kind of weird for me. I honestly have kind of just been like, I don't know where it's going to be, but I don't know. Listen, Jordan, I want to say Philly as well, but I think Inter Miami is going to take it.
Well, and also Philly didn't have Ty Barabo last week. He was out on international duty, and so your scorer up top was not a part of the equation last week. And I imagine you get him back once again. I don't know when he returned and how many minutes he's going to give you, but you get your leading scorer back.
I lied. I think I'm going to say a draw. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
You're a fibbing fibber.
I did lie because I was looking at it and I think I got my things confused. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw because you look at the records. Also, too, I believe I might be incorrect. I don't think I am.
Mm-hmm.
Inter Miami's coming off of a bye week. They did not play last weekend. So
correct.
They're rested.
That's true.
They're rested. They're rested, ready to go.
Yeah, except for everybody that went on international duty. And once again,
but one person didn't.
But then, but he was also injured, and that's why he didn't go on international duty.
I think both of them. I think it'll be a draw, and I think it'll be a draw that frustrates both of them. I don't think either one of them will be happy with that draw. Like I see like it's 2-1 Miami. Philadelphia gets a late winner, or like I see chaos happening. I see absolute chaos. I think that game's going to be insane. So I'm gonna say 2-2, and if I'm right, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go online and say I was right. That's it.
Happy dance. I think happy dance would be appropriate. 8:40 starts. Chicago hosting CF Montreal, who fired Laurent Courtois early in the week, which was dumb.
Yes.
CF Montreal is a plus 429. Your draw is a plus 317. Chicago, big favorite at a minus 175. So Chicago and Messi and friends right now have the same number in the composite, a minus 175.
Yeah, talking to Joe about this one. It's weird, right? When he was talking to Greg Berhalter yesterday, which again, you'll hear all this in our interview, so I won't spoil all of it. But basically he said, Berhalter's a little bit, he's not counting Montreal out because listen, you fire a head coach, you got the interim in who's going to come in and take over. It's that new head coach bump that helps a little bit, especially with the team that hasn't been doing well. Personally, if we're really, I didn't get a chance to talk about it on here. I think the decision is stupid. I think it's actually dumb. I think it's really, really stupid because my thing is like Laurent Courtois, what he has been able to do. I think he's such a good coach. I really do. I think he's such a good coach, and he has done so well with Columbus Crew 2. And then he came in and he helped Montreal make it to a wild card game, something they haven't done in a hot minute. They have not been the Montreal team that we know now. It makes me so mad because I was so upset. I was so mad when I saw that. Six games on the road. What are you gonna? I don't even know what to say. I'm so mad about it. But anyway, I don't know. This one, I think it's gonna be Chicago. I think Chicago's on a momentum right now. You know, beating Vancouver. I think Chicago's going to take it. Yeah, I think Chicago's going to win it, and they got to get on the foot fast though if they're going to.
So Jarrett Maddie vented her spleen about Laurent Courtois getting S-canned by Joey Saputo. So I guess we can say that he got S-canned and have the S stand for Saputo. Went through some of the early matchups, and frankly, the afternoon games are games where you probably should be doing yard work or something, or maybe go to the pool. The 2:30s, you would not be getting your life back if you spent 90 minutes watching Toronto and Vancouver or Red Bulls and Revs. Early afternoon
match. You heathen.
Well, I'm aware of this, even though Vanni Sartini is no longer their head coach. But Toronto is going to get.
But Toronto's bad. Yes.
Yeah. Toronto is awful.
I believe that. I'm not disagreeing with you on principle now.
No.
I mean, hey, you know what though? We could be on a fire watch tomorrow.
Oh, you mean a dismissal watch?
Yeah,
Yes.
we could be on a relieved. We could be on a relieved of duties watch tomorrow afternoon.
Oh,
Yes. Apparently, and Jarrett alludes to this, is that there are birdies chirping in the northeastern section of the United States. That if a result goes a certain way and the New England Revolution are on the negative of that result, that Caleb Porter might need to splash up the resume a little bit, and he might be without employ. Maddie's like, Maddie's like, salute.
that's tea. That's tea.
Wherefore art thou rich ransom?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say.
Yeah. No, go ahead, John. I think we're going to the same place. I think we are on the same train. You are in the front of the train.
We are. Well, I was going to say, wherefore art thou Richie Williams? Because you're with the Revs too, and I was going to save the other individual's name for your next sentence.
It's not that far for Jim Curtin to make his way over to New England. And Maddie, you hold up a finger. What you got? You're muted.
I'm taking 1 second. I have to make a phone call.
Okay. Okay. Anyway.
Wow.
Man, if Caleb Porter is relieved of duties, Philadelphia and New England are a lot closer than like Philadelphia and a bunch of other places. And I don't know for sure, but I want to say I'd heard that he's got two kids in school. I think high school.
Yes,
age.
I think
high school age.
They're both high school age, and it's still a couple of years before they would be graduating.
Yeah, and he might want to just chill out and not uproot his family and move high school kids, God knows where. Which infinite respect to that, 100% to that. But New England ain't far, brother.
No,
you got
Philly to Boston. That's not a bad hop.
You got to imagine New England's owner's got the money to make it worth his time.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, Robert.
Do it.
Yeah, Robert Kraft. Yeah, Robert Kraft. They might be sitting there and wanting to just like cut a check. It's like, I think it. Jim, would you be interested in being the head coach of the Revolution? What's it worth to you? So, I mean, that might be some conversations being had with Kurt Analfo, and it might be a new round of baloney that they might have to be putting up with, where they want to get past the baloney with one coach. You bring in Caleb Porter after some early losses. And, I mean, you can point to the injuries of folks like Leo Campana, who's out, I think, another couple of weeks. But the birdies are chirping up in the Northeast.
Hey,
yeah. Oh, so what did you come with your phone call?
Yes, my mother says hello, everyone.
So and here we thought you were getting intel, morning orange and black.
I was like, are we getting the left? We're sitting here talking about managers getting fired. Maddie's like, I have to make a call. I have to take a call.
Yes. I was like, wait a second.
Is Maddie like is she on like the Jeff Passan phone?
No. Listen, I had to call my mother. Very important stuff. Miss Carrie Larison, I can't
No, you're fine. Jason, we're speaking into existence that Maddie, as we're talking about, hi, Jason, by the way.
Hi.
As we're talking about a certain manager in New England possibly being on relieved of duties watch.
Are you checking Zillow? Did he bet his house again?
Not that I know of. But Maddie put up her fingers like, I have to take a call. So now we're just assuming that Maddie's.
She's got sources.
I know. Also,
and it turned into her mom.
Also, as I pointed out, it's not that far from Philadelphia to New England for Jim Curtin if Kraft wants to pay the money for it.
It's not. It depends on what Jim wants to do. I'm pretty sure his kids are high school age.
Yeah. He might just want to let them finish out.
Yeah, like I think that's gonna factor in here. And honestly, do you want to take that job at the moment? It's not an easy situation. They added, if I remember right, from the preseason matchup, I think 14 or 15 guys this year. That's a huge turnover in your roster. Caleb Porter got himself into trouble to begin with, just with not doing well in New England. I think it's unfair at the moment to expect that many players to come in and be able to hit the ground running. But when you're already on thin ice, these are the things that happen, rightly or wrongly. And I think that's kind of where Porter is at the moment. It's been really fascinating to see how things have turned for him. You're talking about a guy who's won 2 MLS Cups in 2 different spots. That's hard to do. He's always been very up and down. You know, you go back to those Portland teams. What was it? It was the odd years were the good years, and the even years were the bad years.
Basically,
that's always an issue.
Brett Saberhagen of coaching.
Yeah, it's always an issue that it's so up and down, and I feel like he's, I mean, the comment in Columbus that I referenced. Don't ever say you'd bet your house on making the playoffs in Major League Soccer. Don't ever bet anything on Major League Soccer if you have any common sense, unless you just have a lot of disposable houses or income, because the league's crazy. But don't, as a coach, say, I'm going to bet my house on making the playoffs. Like, you're setting yourself up to lose your job. And now when you talk like that at your previous job and you get here and things don't start well, this is the thing that happens. And look, the media in New England, they're pushing. They're pushing. And is it fair? No, not with that many new faces that you have in the club and not with the chaos that you took over from. But is it possibly going to end up resulting in Caleb Porter not being in charge of the New England Revolution for a whole lot longer? Yeah, that's what it's looking like it's trending towards.
Well, you talk about it.
19 departures.
Kind of the up and down thing.
December 1st.
Crazy.
You talk about it being the up and down thing. I think the worrying thing for me, Jason, is the fact that he's condensed it in every stop. Like, Portland was up and down. Like, that was just an insane roller coaster of a tenure. And then he condensed it in Columbus. Like, it was up and down, but you got the trophy in Columbus. But, like, the rise and fall was faster.
Yeah.
And I feel like the rise and fall has been...
I don't think there was ever a rise in New England.
That's the thing is, like, I think there was, like... I think they had... It wasn't a rise, like, a trophy. They had a couple, like, decent spurts with him there. But, like, the highs are not as high, and you hit the low faster. So, like, it's trending in the wrong direction, I guess is where I'm going with that.
Some of it's situational, but, I mean, anybody who tells you there's not pressure to win in Major League Soccer is 100% lying to you. When you see the changes that we've already seen this year with Laurent Courtois, Joey Saputo had a bad bowl of bolognese the night before and decided to fire Courtois the next night or the next morning. Caleb Porter is in a bad spot in New England. Phil Neville, if Portland doesn't continue to put some results together, that conversation is going to start. The conversation about Peter Vermes is ongoing. And there's going to be more. And there were a whole lot of changes after last season. So it's not easy to have a whole lot of job security in this league, even though some would lead you to believe that there's no pressure on managers and no pressure in the regular season.
Maddie, questions for Jason that would be six-pack-ish in variety before we get into the discussion about it.
No, the six-pack's coming up later.
I know we got to save it for later. We're filming six-pack later. We'll save all that.
We'll save it for later.
Okay, Maddie, questions for Jason that would not be part of the six-pack.
Okay, question for Jason, not related to six-pack. I mean, do we want to move it towards Atlanta United? Are we already moving towards that area? Yes, I get the thumbs up. We're doing it. Okay.
Sure. There you go.
Looking at NYC, I think for me, at least, they're a team that scares me because if you look at some of the late goals that they've had, they're very good at rallying and like finding something. Like they're just really good at that. What are some of the things that scare you about NYC, and what does Atlanta need to do to come out of this with 3 points?
I think NYC is in some ways really similar to Atlanta United in the way that they approach the games and also in the way that they are not quite hitting where they want to be just yet. It's a team that's not having a whole lot of possession at the moment, and they want possession. And I think you could say the same about Atlanta, although I wonder what that ideal possession number is for Ronnie Dyla and the way that the game has evolved. I wonder at times, and this is a very frustrating thing, as I'll pull a soapbox back out for a second. It's very frustrating that stats are different depending on what site you're looking at in terms of possession and key passes and kind of basic stuff, depending on if you're looking at the league site, SofaScore, Opta. It's all way too different. And it's very frustrating at the moment. Trying to get a good feel of teams because the numbers are varying and that doesn't help. But both teams are under 50% possession this season, according to most places. And that's not where either one wants to be. So who kind of gets that right? Because somebody's got to have more than 50% of the ball in this game. I believe that's how it works with 100% on offer. So who gets it? And do they get it in the right places that they want to have the ball? Both teams are capable. They just haven't quite found it yet. Both teams have great strikers that can ruin your day in Latte Lot and Alonso Martinez. Martinez scored a goal, had 2 assists in Costa Rica, just obliterating Belize to qualify for the Gold Cup. So he wasn't really tested. He played 135 minutes. I think on the Atlanta side, what I want to see, and I think it affects how you limit NYC a little bit, is I want to see Lennon especially involved on a regular basis, high up the field on the right. I think that starts to fix the offensive rotations a little bit more, whether it's Saba or Miguel on the right side as the winger coming inside a little bit to give Lennon space. It's going to fix them in more of a location rather than some of the freewheeling we saw a little bit early on when you didn't have the fullbacks getting as high. So I think that just gives more coherence to the way that Atlanta wants to play. Get Lennon involved, feed him. The other thing that's a big question mark is Keaton Parks and how much he's going to be able to play for NYC. He left the game in the last match in the first half. He returned to training yesterday, according to Pascal Janssen. And where is he going to be? Because if you don't have him, that idea of NYC getting more to where they want to be in terms of possession, it's a lot harder without Keaton Parks. He's such an important connector for that group. And if he's not 100% or can only go 45 or 30 or 60, and honestly, look, Atlanta might be in the same situation with Mateusz Klich, who is back in training, but I can't imagine he's 90 minutes fit if he's going to get the starting spot. Both of them are very important in the way that the teams want to play. Both of them are going to be limited to some degree that we don't really know yet. So those two could be the most important players in each team for getting the way that they want to play across, and we'll see who's more effective at it.
So we've talked a lot about, and
Jarrett for Jason, go for it.
Is
Sure.
John like on a crazy delay in Central Georgia? It's very funny.
It's very possible. We've talked about with Atlanta and I think it's changed. The narrative on it is changing because of the way they've been playing in the second half of games. But early in the season, the second half wasn't what you wanted after a strong first half. And we know that Atlanta comes out of the gate and can just create fireworks like crazy off the bat. In looking at NYC, what's that time of the game where you're kind of being more on your guard? Because we know we've had, Atlanta's had teams in the past that were dangerous at the end of halves. Columbus was infamous for collapsing at the end of halves a couple of years ago, even though they won a trophy. Like, when is that time where New York can kind of try and turn their screw?
It's so early to tell. I mean, I think, with 2 new managers, I think we're getting a sense of what these things look like over time. And it's early. And last week, you kind of have to throw out to a degree. I think NYC has had a knack for scoring late goals. So you have to worry about that a little bit as this team fatigues in Atlanta. But NYC is going to be a little shorthanded as well with injuries. I can't imagine Keaton Parks, unless you save him for the last 30 or so. I can't imagine he's still on the field at that point. And then they look different. I think it's an interesting topic in general, just because of Atlanta's talked about it. Ronnie Dyla's talked about it. We watched the session yesterday, Maddie and I, and It was a lighter physical session, and that was by design. This is something that Dyla has spoken about. He spoke about it yesterday. Trying to find that balance between how much work to put in terms of the fitness side of things and how much to keep some fuel in the tank for the weekend match. And until you get to know the group you're working with, and that's the players, that's the medical staff, that's the sports science staff, that's the physical training staff, until you all kind of work together a little bit, you're I don't want to say guessing because that's gonna people will run with it and take it into a different direction. You're evolving it. And I think Dyla has talked about it a couple of times, and I thought he was really clear yesterday in saying it. He wants the team to have more energy on the weekend. And maybe they've gone a little bit harder during the week early on as you're trying to get ideas across, as you're trying to get the understanding of the way you want to play across. So it seems like he's consciously dialing that back to try to have more energy on the weekend. Long term, you've basically had like a longer preseason in the way, if you want to think about it, because you're going to be more physically fit in general, which will help you later, but it's hurt you a little bit in the second halves of games. I didn't really see that issue in Cincinnati too much. So I think it's having an effect in terms of managing the workload during the week while not just throwing away a session. And it's something we talked about in Training Ground Dispatch. There's your plug. Go watch it, about how you can still accomplish very important things while not working as hard physically. And I think Derek Williams nailed it with the competitive aspects of the activities that they did that didn't overtax them physically. So I think they're getting that. I think Atlanta, in terms of those second halves, Jared, is getting that right the deeper we go into the season. And they'll continue to kind of dial it up and dial it in. The schedule is going to get weird and you got to adjust on the fly anyway. But I think the second halves are going to be better. They've been getting better. And I think they're going to continue to be better if this team has a little more freshness about them in that second 45. And I think Dyla's taking actions to make that happen.
Maddie, for Jason, what else is on your mind?
I do this every time. My mic is always muted and I try to talk and it's fine. Anyway.
John is infecting you.
I know that's just rough. This is rough. I know from talking about it on ASD a little bit earlier this week, and even to like just chatting as well. For me, like when Ronnie was talking in the post-game press conference after Cincy, he talked about, the team in those moments where, Cincinnati's able to come back and, capitalize on a turnover and Evander's able to find the back of the net. It's losing shape, losing discipline, losing concentration. And I think for me, I agree with you. I think the second half in the game against Cincinnati was a lot better than the second halves we've seen earlier. I think it was more of a complete half. It didn't feel like 20 minutes they were good and then the rest was kind of falling off. I think that they put in the work for that. And for me, that was the fight that I saw. That's what I wanted to see. And I saw it. But for me, it was also too, it's not it's not the free kick that is given up that allows them to take it. For me, the loss of concentration comes from that second goal 5 minutes later. That's where that comes in. It's because you get in your head almost. That free kick goes in and then it's, okay, we got to bounce back. Everything's frantic now. And then you give up a turnover and Cincinnati's able to capitalize. In this match against NYC, when you look at that, what does Atlanta need to do to stay focused and to not lose discipline, to not lose shape in those moments where, maybe there is a turnover, maybe there is a goal and NYC is able to put one in? Like, how can Atlanta overcome that hump and keep things level and keep playing the game that they're going to play?
The way they could overcome not losing any kind of focus, not losing any kind of shape, not losing any kind of mental fatigue, the way they would overcome that is to become a robot, which is not going to happen between now and then. It's not physically possible, I don't think. Give it time. Probably it will by some point. They're humans. And I think this is something that, when I see people have this conversation, it's just, oh, they should focus better. Well, let me ask everybody out there listening, Are you 100% locked in, focused, never distracted when you're at work? Never, never, never you glance at something else. Never, never, never you doom scroll. Never, never, never always locked in on that spreadsheet. You're not. Now, here's what you have to do. And I thought Derek Williams nailed it yesterday when he talked about this. In those moments, which are human, you're tired, you're maybe frustrated, you're maybe overwhelmed, you're physically feeling it. In those moments where you feel it, and players do and coaches do, and that's why you went to a line of 5 last week. Ronnie was dead on. The game was getting away from you a little bit before the first foul that led to the free kick. You tried to change it, you couldn't. All right. When you start to feel that slip, which is just gonna happen. Derek talked about it with Charlotte as an example. And they do a really good job of it because look, they're not super expansive to begin with, so it's an easy transition for them. You start to feel, man, the game's getting away. We're tired. We're hurting a little bit. What do we do? Psh, play it long. Bomb it. Get the ball out of your half. Just keep it simple. Ride it out until you can create some positive momentum going the other way, until you can regain your wits about you. Whatever it is, find that. And I think this team is good enough defensively, especially in normal situations, to concede that a little bit, to concede that possession a little bit, just relieve the pressure. And you are striving for something in the way that this team plays that is very top, very high up here. And it's a great vision to have, and it's a great goal to have. It's impossible to be there for 90 minutes every single game. You just can't. So in those moments where it's getting away from you, and it's never easy to flip a switch and change who you are and change the way that you want to be, but you need to find a way to do it more in these moments where it might be the 65th minute before or after you make subs. And it might be after you make subs and guys are coming in and it's all discombobulated because you brought in fresh legs here and they're running around like crazy. And then, Miranchuk gets tired and he's trying to catch his breath and he just wants to hold the ball a little bit, keep it. Like, you need to be able to have something to where we need a little bit of time here. Bomb it long. Let them try to build up the play and defend. And this team's good enough in defending to do that. Defending in normal situations. Don't give up turnovers in your own third. Don't give up, bad turnovers in the middle third. Don't give up dangerous free kicks. Don't have those transition moments hurt you. When you're set to defend, this team's good. So lean to that. And in the moments where you feel the game getting away from you and the focus, intensity, momentum, I mean, we can hit the thesaurus all day on it. When those things get away from you, concede possession, get organized, and defend, and ride it out. And I think if this team can find that, they're going to be just fine. I think they're going to have more energy as they go. I think all the little tweaks are working. The team is getting better as you go. They should have more than they do. Welcome to soccer. It sucks sometimes. So you have to figure out how to ride out those moments where you're getting punished. And to me, that's it. And I think if Derek's feeling that, you know what, we can do that. We can sit back and defend. Between him and Stian, the fullbacks drop in to defend. The 2 central midfielders in front. You can defend pretty deep. You can be smart. You're never going to be a defense first team, but you can be for 5 or 10 minutes at a time. That's what you need to do. That's how you deal with it, because you're not going to become a robot tomorrow.
Broadcast plans for Atlanta United on the weekend taking on NYC.
6:30 for pregame coverage, starting on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. Abe Gordon, Madison Cruz on that. Then we'll have Garth Augerway in the booth a little bit before 7 o'clock. Mike Conti and I will jump in for that. Then we'll jump back out. Abe and Maddie will finish pregame. Then we'll jump back in right before 7:30. 7:40 is your kickoff time. And I believe possibly Jarrett Smith will be doing postgame with Abe Gordon if Jarrett Smith has not turned into a robot as of yet.
The odds are ever in your favor.
The odds are good. If not, then Maddie will have to do postgame. Somebody will, and we'll go from there. Abe will just probably like be yelling at both of you. And that's all good.
Abe is basically eternally on a mechanical bull, and we've taped his hands to the bull.
He might be a robot. He might be the one.
We've taped him to the mechanical bull so that even if he gets bucked off, he's still going to hang on. And it's honestly going to be worse for him if he can't hang on, if he does lose his balance.
That's true.
We love it.
Suffering is terminal.
It's true. Check out on our social media platforms, Instagram, and I believe it made it to Threads as well. And it's on our YouTube channel. Clip from Reece James of Chelsea, pretty much laying down the gauntlet that they want to win the Club World Cup. So pretty cool. That's out there. Articles also at soccerdownhere.net. Training ground dispatches out from yesterday. You got clips making their rounds as well. Lots of content. And then we got 2 high school games tonight. Maddie and I will be in Covington for Eastside hosting North Oconee. That'll be on the Numero Uno Mixler channel. And then on the Deuce, it will be Drew Dickinson and John Nelson from Brookwood High School, one of the oldest rivalries in Georgia high school soccer. Parkview at Brookwood. They hate each other if they're playing tiddlywinks, let alone soccer.
Yes, the Battle of Five Forks young kids don't understand.
They don't know what it's like. Sean Johnson knows what it's like. Walker Zimmerman knows what it's like. Josh Wolf knows what it's like.
My uncles know what it's like. They played on the team as well.
And there you go.
I tell them all the time, like when I tell them when the first high school game I did with you guys was that game, and they were like, "Oh, it's bad." They're like, "They're gonna kill each other. Like it's gonna kill each other," and they know it too. Like I'll mention it in just passing, and like my uncle will just get like a seethe of rage, and I'm like, "Whoa."
That's how I feel about Sandy Creek. So it's all good.
I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I can relate.
We love it.
Yes. So it's going to be and then we also have the twos on Sunday after.
Twos on Sunday, Chattanooga FC, another one that might invoke rage from some people, some Atlanta people, and some people in Eastridge as well, because they're going to play next week, which that's going to be chaos. We'll see if Chattanooga FC is a little distracted on Sunday.
Yeah, Chattanooga might Chattanooga. I'm not saying like Chattanooga's going to rotate. Chattanooga just might be careful with like, hey, we're going to play some subs in the 60th minute. I need because points in MLS Next Pro is one thing, but they're playing the team in East Ridge in the midweek, and that's going to be more important for their hearts and minds.
It should be. It absolutely should be. That's going to be wild next week.
I'll have eyes in the stadium too, because good friends of Network is Sonia as well, Carson and my friend Alex. They're going up to watch the game. So I told them, I said, listen, you got to give me like up to date. If stuff's happening, you got to let me know. So
there will be stuff happening.
Send it to troops, all right? Because I'm gonna have a delay. So you got to tell me what's going on.
Yeah, you're gonna need a camera in the stands.
Yeah, you're gonna need a few. Good luck to everybody involved in that one. But we'll be
statements.
Yeah, basically, we'll be a little busy between now and Sunday night, and back when Morning Espresso is back for you on Monday and SDH AM back for you on Monday. We'll have lots to talk about because we'll all be very busy.
Absolutely true. So that's going to do it for a show because Maddie and Jason, they've got a tape 6-pack, and that's going to be out very, very soon. We're going to catch up with Steve Cook. That's going to be a part of our conversation, getting us ready for the twos in Chattanooga. So busy weekend across the board high school this afternoon on the Deuce and on the Mothership. So for Jarrett, for Maddie, and this is just me looking at it, and so down that way is Jason, at least in my.
Please don't hurt yourself.
So you just broke your wrist trying to point in a certain direction. What are you doing?
I was trying to do it with my left hand, but I have to go that way.
Are you doing the Macarena? What are you doing?
I'm trying anyway.
Say bye.
Thanks to bye. Tyler Terrence, glad that Tyler came by. We gave him some food wrecks, and we also have a story that for Ronnie Dyla later. Glenn Crooks joined us in a half hour. We're out. We'll see you this weekend. Play safe, everybody. Mucha plot, y'all. Since it's the end of the show, that means we get to do this. Bye.